Hey everyone! Remember those carefree days of our childhood? The late 90s and early 2000s were a special time. We didn't have smartphones or social media. Can you even imagine? We had something better. We had each other. We spent hours outside, playing games and using our imaginations. Life moved at a different pace. We weren't glued to screens. We made our own fun. It was all about being kids. Remember the feeling of pure joy? The excitement of a new day? I do. Those memories are etched in my heart. Join me on a trip down memory lane. Let's revisit our childhood. It's time to celebrate the good old days. The late 90s and early 2000s were a different era. It was the analog age. We didn't have the internet at our fingertips. Can you believe it? No Google, no social media. Gasp! We had to entertain ourselves. We used our imaginations. We played outside until the streetlights came on. We built forts. We rode our bikes. We made mud pies. It was glorious. Communication was different too. We talked face to face. We wrote letters. We even used the landline. Remember those? It was all about real connections. We listened. We empathized. Television was a magical thing. It was our window to the world. We didn't have streaming services. We had limited channels. But that didn't matter. The shows were epic. Saturday morning cartoons were a ritual. We'd wake up early, we'd grab a bowl of cereal, and we'd settle in for hours of entertainment. From DuckTales to Rugrats, we loved them all. After school, we'd rush home for our favorite shows. Full House, Family Matters, Boy Meets World. These shows taught us about life. They taught us about family. They taught us about friendship. It brought us together. The late 90s and early 2000s were the golden age of cartoons. We were spoiled for choice. Every channel had its own lineup of amazing shows. And they weren't just for kids. Cartoon Network was a powerhouse. Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken. These shows were hilarious. They were creative, and they pushed the boundaries of animation. Nickelodeon was no slouch either. Rugrats, Hey Arnold, The Wild Thornberrys. These shows were relatable. They dealt with real issues, and they taught us valuable lessons. Disney Channel had its own brand of magic. Recess, Pepper Ann, Lizzie McGuire. These shows were heartwarming. They were funny. And they celebrated individuality. Oh, Disney. Just saying the name brings back so many magical memories. Disney was a huge part of our childhoods. From classic films to Disney Channel shows, it felt like Disney was always there. We'd rush home from school to catch our favorite shows and sing along to every song. We dreamed of visiting the parks. Lizzie McGuire was a favorite. She was awkward and goofy, navigating middle school. And who could forget Gordo? And Miranda, the stylish one. They were the ultimate BFF goals. Then there was That's So Raven. Raven-Symoné was hilarious, as the psychic teenager, with friends Chelsea and Eddie, and her mischievous brother Devin. And of course, Kim Possible, the action hero we all loved. Cartoon Network was another staple of our childhoods. From the wacky humor of Dexter's Laboratory to the action-packed adventures of the Powerpuff Girls, Cartoon Network had something for everyone. We'd spend hours glued to the TV, mesmerized by the colorful animation and hilarious storylines. Who could forget Dexter, the boy genius with a secret laboratory hidden behind a bookshelf in his bedroom? His rivalry with his older sister, Dee Dee, was the source of endless laughter. And his experiments, while often going awry, were always entertaining. Then there were Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup, the Powerpuff Girls. These three kindergartners with superpowers fought crime and saved the day before bedtime. Blossom was the leader. Bubbles was the sweet one. And Buttercup was the tough one. Together, They were the perfect crime-fighting trio. Nickelodeon was the king of wacky and irreverent cartoons. From the adventures of Tommy Pickles and his diaper-clad crew to the skateboarding antics of the Rocket Power team, Nickelodeon always kept us entertained. Their shows were loud, messy, and full of heart, perfectly capturing the chaos and joy of childhood. Rugrats was a show that perfectly captured the world from a baby's point of view. Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Angelica were always getting into trouble, exploring the world around them with a sense of wonder and mischief. Their adventures, from escaping the playpen to battling Reptar, the giant green dinosaur, were always entertaining. Hey Arnold! Followed the life of Arnold, a fourth grader living in a boarding house with his grandparents and a cast of quirky characters. Arnold was a good kid with a heart of gold, always willing to help out a friend in need. His adventures were always heartwarming and relatable. Section 4. TGIF and Beyond Live-Action Laughs. Live-action shows were just as important as cartoons in our childhoods. From the family-friendly sitcoms of ABC's TGIF lineup to the teen dramas that had us glued to the TV every week, these shows tackled real-life issues with humor and heart. They taught us about friendship, family, and the importance of staying true to ourselves. Full House was a classic TGIF sitcom that taught us about the importance of family. Danny Tanner, a widowed father of 3, enlisted the help of his brother-in-law Jesse and best friend Joey to raise his daughters, DJ, Stephanie, and Michelle. The show was full of heartwarming moments, life lessons, and plenty of laughs. Boy Meets World took us on a journey through adolescence alongside Corey Matthews, a lovable but sometimes clueless teenager navigating the ups and downs of growing up. From his first crush on Topanga to his hilarious misadventures with his best friend Sean, Corey's experiences resonated with viewers. Section 5. The soundtrack of our childhood, from Britney to Blink. Nostalgia isn't just about what we watched, it's also about what we listened to. The late 90s and early 2000s were a time of boy bands, pop princesses, and the rise of pop punk. We blasted our favorite CDs on our boomboxes, sang along at the top of our lungs, and danced like no one was watching. Britney Spears ruled the pop scene with her catchy tunes and iconic music videos. From Baby One More Time to Oops, I Did It Again. Britney's music was the soundtrack to countless school dances and slumber parties. The Backstreet Boys and *NSYNC had us swooning with their synchronized dance moves and heartfelt ballads. We argued over who was the cutest member and dreamed of one day meeting them in person. Section 1. The Great Outdoors, Our Adventure Playground. Okay, let's talk about life before social media. Can you even imagine it? No endless scrolling, no comparing ourselves to others online. We had something so much better, the great outdoors. Our neighborhoods were our playgrounds. We'd spend hours outside, breathing in the fresh air and soaking up the sunshine. We didn't need fancy gadgets or expensive toys. Our imaginations were our most powerful tools. A simple cardboard box could become a spaceship, a castle, or a time machine. The possibilities were endless. Remember the feeling of grass beneath our feet, the thrill of climbing a tree, the joy of a water balloon fight on a hot summer day? Section 2. Bikes, Blades, and Boards. Our Wheels of Freedom. Remember the feeling of freedom that came with getting your first bike? It was like the world opened up to you. Suddenly, you could explore further, faster. You could race your friends down the street, the wind whipping through your hair. And it wasn't just bikes. Rollerblades and skateboards were all the rage. We'd spend hours practicing tricks in our driveways or at the local park. Remember the scrapes and bruises? They were badges of honor, proof of our adventurous spirits. These wheels weren't just modes of transportation, they were symbols of our independence. They represented our desire to explore, to push our limits, and to experience the world on our own terms. Section 3. The Art of Play Imagination in Action. We didn't need video games or apps to keep us entertained. We had something much more powerful, our imaginations. We'd create our own games, our own worlds, using nothing but our creativity and whatever we could find lying around. A stick could become a magic wand, a sword, or a microphone. A blanket draped over some chairs could transform into a secret fort or a pirate ship. The possibilities were limited only by our imaginations. Remember the epic games of tag that would stretch on for hours? Section 4. Streetlights and supper time, the rhythm of our days. Life moved at a different pace back then. It was slower, more deliberate. We weren't ruled by schedules and deadlines. Our days had a natural rhythm, dictated by the rising and setting of the sun. We knew it was time to head home when the streetlights flickered on. That familiar glow was our signal that supper was ready and the day's adventures were coming to an end. We'd gather around the dinner table, sharing stories of our day, our faces flushed with excitement and exhaustion. Those were the moments that mattered. Simple, everyday moments filled with love, laughter, and connection. Remember the golden rule of our childhood? Be home when the streetlights come on. It was the universal signal that playtime was over and it was time to head home. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the neighborhood, the streetlights would flicker on, bathing the streets in a warm, inviting glow. This simple rule wasn't just about safety. It was about respecting our parents' rules and understanding the importance of boundaries. It was about knowing that even though we were free to roam and explore during the day, there was a time and a place for everything. And as much as we might have grumbled about having to leave our games and head inside, there was a part of us that secretly welcomed the routine. Tag, you're it! Those 3 little words were all it took to ignite a frenzy of activity in our childhood games. Suddenly, we were transformed into Olympic sprinters, our legs pumping, our lungs burning as we raced across playgrounds, parks, and backyards, the thrill of the chase coursing through our veins. Tag was more than just a game. It was a test of speed, agility, and strategy. We'd dodge and weave, pivoting on a dime, our laughter echoing in the air as we desperately tried to avoid the outstretched hand of the person who was it. And when you were the one doing the chasing, oh, the power, the feeling of responsibility, the determination to tag someone, anyone, before they could escape your grasp. It was exhilarating. As the seeker closed their eyes and began to count, we'd scatter like leaves in the wind, our hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. Hide and seek wasn't just a game, it was a test of our stealth, our cunning, and our ability to blend into our surroundings. We'd squeeze into the most unlikely of places, behind curtains, under beds, inside closets, our bodies contorted into impossible positions, our breathing shallow, desperate to remain undetected. The silence was always the worst part, the agonizing wait, wondering if the seeker was getting closer, if they were about to stumble upon our hiding spot. And then, the sweet relief when we heard their footsteps fading into the distance, the knowledge that we were safe, at least for now. But the real victory came when we managed to sneak back to home base without being detected. The triumphant shout of "Ollie, Ollie, oxen free," echoing through the air, signaling our victory. Section 4. Hopscotch, a sidewalk ballet. Armed with nothing but a piece of chalk and our boundless energy, we'd transform the sidewalks into our own personal dance floors. Hopscotch wasn't just a game, it was a test of balance, coordination, and grace. We'd hop and skip and jump from one numbered square to the next, our bodies moving with a rhythm and fluidity that belied our young age. The sidewalk became our stage, our chalk drawings the backdrop for our impromptu performances. And just like any good ballet, there were rules to follow, steps to be mastered. We'd carefully toss our markers, aiming for the center of each square, our tongues sticking out in concentration. Hopscotch was a game that could be enjoyed by anyone, regardless of age or athletic ability. It was a simple pleasure, a way to while away a sunny afternoon, our laughter and chatter filling the air as we danced our way across the concrete canvas. Section 5. Red Rover, strength in numbers. Red Rover, send, insert name right over. Those words, chanted in unison, were enough to send a shiver of anticipation down our spines. Red Rover wasn't just a game. It was a test of strength, courage, and the unbreakable bonds of friendship. We'd line up facing each other, our hands clasped tightly with our teammates, forming an impenetrable wall of human resistance. And then, with a burst of speed and determination, the chosen one would charge towards the opposing line, their eyes fixed on the space between two players. The impact was always intense, a collision of bodies, a test of wills. Sometimes the runner would break through, their triumphant cheers echoing through the air. But more often than not, they'd be sent tumbling back, only to be caught and embraced by their teammates, their spirits undeterred. Red Rover was a game that taught us the importance of teamwork, the power of unity, and the unwavering support that comes from true friendship. Section 1. Elementary School Escapades, where learning was an adventure. Elementary school. Those were the days. Back when our biggest worries were remembering our multiplication tables and who we were going to sit with at lunch. Elementary school was a world of its own, a magical place where learning was an adventure and every day was filled with the promise of new discoveries. Remember the excitement of walking through those double doors on the first day of school, our backpacks overflowing with brand new supplies? We were eager to learn, eager to make new friends, and eager to explore all that elementary school had to offer. From the moment the bell rang, signaling the start of the day, until the final bell released us to freedom, we were immersed in a world of learning and laughter. We sang songs about the alphabet, created masterpieces in art class, and journeyed to far-off lands during story time. But it wasn't all work and no play. Recess was our time to shine, to unleash our boundless energy on the playground, to engage in epic games of tag and dodgeball, and to cement friendships that would last a lifetime. The 100th day of school was a momentous occasion in elementary school, a day marked with anticipation and excitement. It wasn't just about reaching a numerical milestone. It was a celebration of learning, a testament to our perseverance and our ability to accomplish great things. The classroom would be transformed into a wonderland of numbers, with decorations showcasing everything from 100 colorful feathers to 100 googly eyes staring back at us from the walls. We'd spend weeks leading up to the big day, brainstorming creative ways to represent the number 100. Some of us would arrive at school with necklaces strung with 100 brightly colored beads, while others would proudly display posters adorned with 100 hand-drawn hearts or stars. And then there were the collections, 100 buttons, 100 pennies, even 100 pieces of candy, carefully counted and displayed for all to admire. The 100th day of school was a day for fun and games, a day for celebrating our achievements and making memories that would last a lifetime. It was a reminder that learning could be both challenging and rewarding, and that with hard work and determination, we could achieve anything we set our minds to. Field Day was the highlight of the school year, a day where the usual rules of the classroom were suspended and we were free to unleash our inner athletes. The air would crackle with excitement as we gathered on the school grounds, our eyes bright with anticipation. The smell of freshly cut grass mingled with the scent of sunscreen as we stretched and warmed up, our bodies eager to move. The sound of whistles blowing and children cheering filled the air, creating a symphony of sound that was both exhilarating and deafening. From the classic three-legged race where teamwork and coordination were key, to the always chaotic potato sack race, where laughter was the only prize worth winning, Field Day was a test of our athleticism, our sportsmanship, and our ability to laugh at ourselves when we inevitably tripped, stumbled, or face-planted in front of the entire school. But it didn't matter if we crossed the finish line first or last, because on Field Day, everyone was a winner. It was a day for celebrating our physical abilities, for cheering each other on, and for making memories that would last a lifetime. Middle school. Just saying the words can evoke a roller coaster of emotions. It was a time of awkward growth spurts, changing friendships, and the ever-present pressure to fit in. We were no longer little kids, but we weren't quite teenagers either. We were stuck in that awkward in-between phase, trying to figure out who we were and where we belonged. Remember the feeling of walking through the halls of middle school for the first time, surrounded by a sea of unfamiliar faces? The sheer size of the building, the lockers that seemed impossible to open, the older kids who seemed so much cooler and more confident than we could ever hope to be. Middle school was a crash course in navigating social dynamics, a time when cliques reigned supreme and even the smallest slight could feel like a life-altering event. We were constantly comparing ourselves to others, worried about what people thought of us, and desperate to fit in. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, there were moments of pure joy and discovery. We formed close bonds with our friends, discovered new passions and interests, and began to develop our own unique identities. Friday nights in middle school meant one thing: football games. The air would crackle with excitement as the sun began to set. The stands would fill with students, parents, and teachers, all united in support. The band played, cheerleaders performed, and the crowd erupted as players took the field. Whether die-hard fans or socializing, those Friday night lights were magical. It was a chance to escape school pressures and come together as a community. Pep rallies were boisterous celebrations of school spirit in the gym, a time to show pride, cheer on classmates, and create lasting memories. A reminder that we were part of something bigger, achieving together. Disney. The very name evokes a sense of wonder, magic, and pure childhood joy. From the whimsical worlds of animated classics to the relatable characters of their live-action shows, Disney has a way of capturing our hearts and imaginations like no other. Who could forget the iconic Mickey Mouse with his infectious grin and optimistic spirit? He was the original Disney mascot, the one who started it all. And then there was Cinderella, the quintessential Disney princess who taught us that dreams really do come true. Her story of transformation from rags to riches captured our imaginations and filled us with hope. And who could resist the charm of Simba, the lion cub who taught us about courage, responsibility, and the importance of family? His journey to reclaim his rightful place as king was both epic and heartwarming. And let's not forget Ariel, the mermaid princess who longed to be part of our world. Her independent spirit and determination to follow her dreams resonated with us all. These Disney characters weren't just figures on a screen. They were our friends, our role models, and our companions on countless imaginary adventures. They taught us valuable lessons about life, love, and the importance of following our dreams. Nickelodeon was the king of quirky, irreverent, and often gross-out humor. Their characters were anything but ordinary, and that's what we loved about them. They pushed the boundaries of animation and made us laugh until our sides hurt. The Rugrats were a staple of our childhoods. These diaper-clad adventurers saw the world from a unique perspective. Tommy Pickles, the brave leader, Chucky Finster, the anxious sidekick, and Phil and Lil DeVille, the inseparable twins, were our constant companions. And then there was SpongeBob SquarePants, the optimistic sponge who lived in a pineapple under the sea. His wacky antics and infectious laughter brightened our days. And who could forget Ren and Stimpy, the dysfunctional duo who pushed the limits of good taste? Their bizarre adventures and crude humor were not for the faint of heart, but for those who dared. The rewards were endless laughter and a newfound appreciation for the absurd. Cartoon Network was the home of the weird, the wacky, and the wonderfully offbeat. Their characters were unlike anything we'd ever seen before, with their unique designs, bizarre personalities, and penchant for breaking the fourth wall. Dexter's Laboratory was a celebration of all things science and invention. Dexter, a boy genius with a secret laboratory hidden beneath his suburban home, was constantly creating amazing gadgets and inventions, much to the chagrin of his ditzy older sister, Dee Dee. Johnny Bravo was a hilarious parody of over-the-top masculinity. With his slicked-back hair, oversized sunglasses, and bulging muscles, Johnny was convinced he was God's gift to women, despite all evidence to the contrary. His relentless pursuit of female attention and his complete lack of self-awareness provided endless laughter. And then there was Courage the Cowardly Dog, a show that was both hilarious and terrifying. Courage, a pink dog with a crippling fear of everything, was constantly forced to confront his fears in order to save his beloved owners, Muriel and Eustace Bagg, from a never-ending parade of monsters, aliens, and other bizarre creatures. Section 4. Beyond the Screen, Bringing Our Favorite Characters to Life. Our favorite childhood characters weren't confined to the television screen. They came to life in our imaginations, in our games of pretend, and in the countless toys and merchandise that filled our bedrooms. We'd spend hours reenacting scenes from our favorite shows, our voices mimicking the characters' inflections, our bodies contorting into impossible positions as we tried to replicate their every move. We'd draw pictures of our favorite characters, write stories about their adventures, and create elaborate worlds for them to inhabit. And then there were the toys. Action figures, dolls, plush toys, trading cards. Our bedrooms were shrines to our favorite characters. We'd spend hours playing with them, creating our own storylines and adventures, our imaginations knowing no bounds. These toys weren't just objects. They were extensions of our imaginations, tangible representations of the characters who had captured our hearts and minds. They allowed us to bring our favorite stories to life and to create our own unique adventures. Is Section 5, A Lasting Legacy, the enduring appeal of our childhood favorites. The childhood characters we grew up with have left an indelible mark on our lives. They shaped our sense of humor, our values, and our view of the world. And while we may be older now, our love for these characters has never faded. We still find ourselves quoting lines from our favorite shows, singing along to the theme songs, and reminiscing about the characters who made our childhood so special. We introduce these characters to our own children, hoping to share the joy and wonder they brought to our lives. The enduring appeal of these childhood favorites lies in their ability to transport us back to a simpler time, a time when life was filled with imagination, laughter, and a sense of boundless possibility. They remind us of the power of storytelling, the importance of friendship, and the enduring magic of childhood. Section 1. A Digital Sunset, the End of an Era. As the years went by, things started to change. The internet became more prevalent, social media was born, our world expanded, and so did the ways we could spend our time. There's a lot to appreciate about these advancements. But there's a bittersweet nostalgia for life before the digital boom. Remember writing letters to friends during summer break? The anticipation of checking the mailbox each day? or rushing to the video store on a Friday night. Those experiences held a certain magic. They were tangible, personal, and filled with anticipation. We had different, more creative ways of dealing with boredom. The late 90s and early 2000s marked a unique period, and while the world has moved on, those memories hold a special place in our hearts. Section 2. Lessons Learned, Memories Made, The Gifts of a Simpler Time. Looking back, it's amazing to think about all the valuable lessons we learned during those pre-digital days. Without the constant distraction of screens, we were more present in the moment. We learned to entertain ourselves, to be resourceful, and to appreciate the simple things in life. We learned the importance of face-to-face interaction, how to read body language, and how to truly connect with others on a deeper level. We built strong friendships, forged in the fires of shared experiences, and countless hours spent playing together in the real world, not just in the digital one. We learned the value of patience, waiting our turn for the swing set or the video game console. We learned to cope with boredom, using our imaginations to create our own fun. And maybe most importantly, we learned that true happiness didn't come from likes or followers, but from genuine connection, shared laughter, and the freedom to simply be ourselves. These lessons, learned organically through the simple act of living, have shaped us into the people we are today. They are the gifts of a simpler time, a time we look back on with fondness and a touch of melancholy. Section 3. Passing the torch, keeping the magic alive. Sure, the world is different now, but that doesn't mean the magic of our childhoods has to disappear. It's up to us to keep those memories alive and pass on the joy to the next generation. Encourage children to put down their devices and step outside. Take them to the park, build a fort in the living room, or teach them our favorite games. Share childhood stories. Introduce them to beloved characters and show them fun beyond screens. Nostalgia isn't just about the past. It's about blending the best of our past into our present. Make time for genuine connection and simple pleasures. The magic of childhood and human connection remain timeless. Let's keep those flames burning brightly.